Underway, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Team Pondmills versus Team South. Pondmills did a great job of starting off the last game, but Team South came in so strong at the end, finished it off, grabbing game one, proving me wrong and about that prediction that Pondmills would get the first game. But that means we're into game two. Team South could take it for a second game here and win it immediately, or Pondmills could finish it off, grabbing 2 wins, and they can be the champions of this Sunday night matchup between these two teams. LeBlanc, first banned by Pondmills, was banned out last game, did not want LeBlanc to be coming into these games. Very powerful champion jumping back and forth. Vayne coming in as well. Purple team not wanting that ADC. They know somebody can play her strongly. Gonna take her out. Evelyn banned out by Pondmills. She was played in the warm-up game about an hour ago. Very strong champion. I believe it was actually it was somebody on blue team on Pondmills that actually played her. But yeah, Drumgun played her initially, but I guess blue team decided they did not want her, no matter who was playing her. I'm so excited for this game, though, as Team South does have one of my favorite supports to watch. Paginator usually grabs up Thresh, but is still pretty good on a number of different champions. It'll be interesting to see if Pondmills bans out Thresh this game, not wanting Paginator to grab him, or somebody else. Twitch banned by a purple team, once again getting those ADCs out of there, knowing that the very powerful ADCs could mean a lot of damage. Pondmills actually banning out Riven, very good choice for purple team. New recruits actually had Riven in the warm-up game and did a very good job with her. Lost a little bit early game and came back late game doing a lot of damage. People to watch for in this game is Bajan as well. Bajan was in the last game, lost the top lane with an Akali, but turned it around late game and snowballed her way to a solid win. Kha'Zix banned out by Team South. Not interested in having that little creepy crawly bug running around. You need somebody big to squish him with your foot if you're going to have him like a Cho'Gath or something. Mafiki grabbing up a Jax for the top lane. I don't think Mafiki was in the last game played, but we do see him running around with these players. Blaine McWhale going ahead and grabbing that Thresh for Paginator. We know it's one of his favorite supports. He's going to grab it. He's going to get the hooks. It is already on. But that Jax pick is very strong for Pondmills. He is a very strong champion, both early game and very strong late game, as he is very hard to kill with his ultimate. It gives him so much additional armor and magic resist. New recruits hovering over this Caitlyn pick and is gonna let the timer lock it in for her. That Caitlyn is very strong, especially if you don't know what ADC is on the enemy team, because she has such strong range and she's overall a very good champion. Very hard to counter pick a Caitlyn because she's pretty good against most all champions. Weasel instantly locking in that Morgana. Morgana very strong counter to the Thresh with that spell shield. However, as you've seen in a lot of different games recently, even when the spell shield stops that Thresh hook, he can still follow up and just wait for that spell shield to go down before using a flay to pull all of the enemy towards his team. Muhammad Mulin grabbing a new pick, Sejuani. I haven't seen too many Sejuanis in recent games, but Sejuani a very powerful champion with those slows, as well as that AoE stun ultimate. Very strong if the enemy team groups. Purple team jumping over a number of different champions. Team South grabbing the first win of the game, which actually I should go ahead and put in here as well. That way everyone can see. Let's do it like this. Edit scene. I know, I'm so unprofessional with this. There we go. Now we can see who's got the first win. Team South taking up the first game of the day. Nice job. But we are pushing into a second game. Bajan grabbing that Nidalee in the mid lane. Very powerful with those long range Qs. And Askafa grabbing a Hecarim in the jungle. We saw him in the warm up as well. Very strong champion and on those hands. However, Pushover going to be trying to counter this Nidalee in the mid lane with a Fizz. That Trickster probably going to be doing a nice job of dodging those spears when they come in. And Drumgun trying to see what he can counter off this Caitlyn with a Sivir. Very strong champion if you know how to play her right. Very high damage, but very, very squishy. So you got to rely very heavily on your spell shield. Also a good champion against those thresh hooks. I'm going to make sure that none of those hooks land on Sivir as long as you time your spell shield correctly. And Patchinator coming in with that Nasus pick for the Bulimic Whale. That Susan, very strong in that top lane. When the game goes on for a while, allowing his Q to get stacked. Good option against this Jax with that Wither is going to slow his auto attacks down, slow him down, and may allow Nasus to come in with that damage. However, Jax still does a lot of damage in the game. So thank you all for watching. Once again, these videos will be available as soon as the stream does stop after this game. This is game 2. If you are interested in following, go ahead and follow. The giveaway will be done after the last game of the night, which will be either this game or the next one, so stay tuned. It will be a $10 RP giveaway, and it will be random to anyone that is a follower, so you do have to actually be a follower this time to be able to get the RP giveaway. As well as, hey, if you have a friend, you could split it with them. Get your friend on. They can maybe grab it a little bit for you. Alright, so Team Pondmills down 1 game. Team South taking the first game of the night. Pondmills did come out strong last game. Should I bet on them this game? I think I'm going to put all of my dice on Team South. They are looking strong last game. They're looking strong this game. Bajan knew how to land those skills last game, so we're going to see if his spears can come through this game. Very excited to see, once again, Patchinator on that Thresh. Be interesting with the Sivir pick, though, trying to see what they can do to counter the Thresh. And then, of course, those long-range spears are just going to be doing all sorts of damage. I'm still going to go with Team South. Pondmills has a pretty good late game combination with that Sejuani who can get so tanky, and then Jack's late game is always scary, but Bulimic Whale on that Nasus can always be scary too. So, running through everyone and their champions real fast. Nafiki playing Jax in the top lane for Pondmills. Weasel in the mid lane as Fizz. Muhammad Molin as Sejuani in the jungle. Pushover on the Morgana support in the bottom lane. And Drumgun on the Sivir ADC in the bottom as well. New recruits ADC for Team South in the bottom lane. Caitlyn, Bulimic Whale on the Susan in the top lane. A Scuffer in the jungle with Hecarim. Bajan, Nidalee mid lane throwing out those damaging spears, and Patchinator on his favorite champion of all, the Thresh in that bottom lane support. Thank you all for your support of the game by watching and just hanging out with us. Hopefully you guys will come back in the future to watch some more. Or, once again, if you're interested in getting in on your own games, feel free to throw me a message on Twitch to say that you're interested in participating in some of these games. Or, if you just want to, if you have a team of your own and want me to watch it, feel free to add me and send me an invite whenever I'm on. I actually stream this more than I play League at all. I haven't played, other than today, just to make sure that I didn't lose any LP in my ranking system, even though I'm pretty low. I have not played a ranked game in almost a month because I am simply solidly streaming these games because this is what I love doing. This is what I enjoy. So I will do this whether you guys follow. I'll do this whether you guys donate. I'll do this whether the world comes to an end. This is what I enjoy doing. I stream about 3 to 4 times a week, and hopefully you guys will enjoy every bit of it. We are now underway. As everybody knows, the team that has the most skins has the most likely chance to win. Oh, you know what? I should actually put into here another text. Still editing this a little bit, making it look a little as professional as possible. Working my way towards professionalism. 0, 1 versus Team South. See if that works. Edit scene, grab it, pull it right down here. Beautiful. Right between the two. Team South taking up that first kill. And Team Pondmills going to be coming in as well. Look at how professional that looks. Just beautiful. Mafiki has not loaded. Hopefully he'll be able to connect before the game actually begins. But we have a beautiful Snow Bunny Nidalee skin. Bajan with that. And new recruits, as could be expected on the Arctic Warfare Caitlyn. It's not a very common skin. I guess they're going for a little bit of snow theme between the Arctic Warfare and Snow Bunny Nidalee. Sinful Succulence Morgana. Best Morgana skin in my opinion. Have it myself. Love it. Pushover, grabbing that one. Drum Gun with a Huntress Sivir. Very rare to see that skin. I'm really excited to see it in-game as well. And Fisherman Fizz with the Weasel, picking up him as well. Classic Fizz skin, but always enjoyable to see. Mafiki still waiting on him to jump into the game. Hopefully they'll be able to actually do it. Don't like to see 4v5 games. Hopefully Team South will do. There we go. He finally joins. We've got Vandal Jackson. That brings 4 skins to 2. Pondmills looking pretty strong with the blue skin team. So hopefully they'll be a part of that. I cannot type and chat at the same time, and so these pauses happen when I'm typing something to somebody on the chat, and so I can't. I'm really bad at typing or talking at the same time as I'm doing that, and I really need to have like a secretary who does it for me. But I'm not popular enough for that, so maybe one day I'll actually be popular enough that that'll happen, and we can get a bunch of people together for it. But I do giveaways, and it's always fun for you guys enjoying. Still chilling, waiting for these teams to finish loading in. If anybody's watching, oh, that was it. If anybody's watching for a if anybody's watching for a specific player or team, feel free to throw it into the shout out in the team chat and say which team you are voting for to win this game. Personally, once again, I'm excited to see Bajan, but the person that I'm going to be watching for most this game is Patchinator on the Thresh. He is one of my favorite champions to play with, as well as Patchinator is a guy who's been with me since almost the very beginning of my streaming shoutcasting, and is just overall a really, really cool dude. Other people to watch in the game is once again Weasel on this Fizz. He is a pretty solid mid laner, does have some excellent tactics that he uses. Sometimes gets a little excited though and dives pretty hard into the enemy team. But with Fizz you can always get out of those situations, just throwing a quick trickster play as you decide which direction you want to run in, and then dashing through an enemy champion before making your way off into the distance. Fizz is one of the hardest champions to actually lock down for any solid length of time, and as Team South doesn't really have a whole lot of CC, that could be pretty bad for them. The CC on Pondmills is pretty legit, as they have Jax with his AoE stun, Sejuani with beautiful slow and the ultimate to stun as well, and then Morgana with that Q snare gonna be hanging around. I can talk in a British accent if you'd like. It's not very great, but I do have one. I'm a little bit of an actor myself, and so I've been doing a little bit of British on the side. There was one day that I was in high school, and I went into the art teacher on the first day of school and talked in a British accent for almost the entire day, and she, completely thought that I was British. She actually asked me what part of London or England or wherever I was from, and was very serious about that. So, talking in a British accent, we're going to start this off here. Get a little bit of the Gecko. We've got, put our top laners in the top lane here. Narcissus versus this Jox in the top lane. And then, of course, we've got our junglers next, the Hecarim and Sejuani, with our mid laners following of the Nidalee and the Fizz, before getting our ADCs of Caitlyn and Sivir, and bottom lane Morgana and Thresh supports coming in last. Looks like our Narcissus Susan is taking a little bit to come in here, as well as Jax grabbing up the last couple of items that he wants before heading out. Susan's taking his time here. Morgana has started off with that Spell Thief's Edge, so it's going to have a little bit of damage there. Ooh, a little bit of poke coming out here. Morgana going ahead and throwing out a little bit of auto attack. Pushover here is a new player in these games, in the second game here, traded out with somebody who got, I think, a little bit frustrated in that last game. A nice Q going out, hitting Bajan, did a little bit of damage. Pushover starting off the damage there. Drum gun is down a little bit of mana, but it's not going to matter too much. Another spear coming out from Bajan, going to be hitting Fizz. And there's a nice hook though by Thresh onto Pushover. The damage is real, going back and forth. Pushover taking really low. Drum guns just trying to do what they can to auto attack Bajan, keeping it low. Who actually missed a spear, didn't land on either of them. Pushover flashing off to the side. A nice boomerang doing a little bit of damage. Bajan wants to get this last spear in through a nice trinket there. There's the spear and the ignite, but New Recruits is going to pick it up over the wall with that Piltover Peacemaker, finish her off. Now it might be a 3-for-1 down here with almost no mana though. Purple team might have to back off. Bajan not having the mana to throw any more spears. Fizz trying to see what he could do. Trickster playing his way out of there. Not wanting that. Up in the blue buff. A little nice stun there by Jack's going to stop the leash off for Sejuani, but that is first kill for Pondmills, or sorry, Team South starting off, and I apologize, what on earth are the team names still doing on the screen? This is not how we want to do the game at all. I think I actually need to do this, team names. Still working out a little bit as we are into the second game. There we go. Nasus finally coming in. He actually was disconnected for a little bit. Nasus reconnecting there in that top lane. Good thing for Purple Team. They started off so strongly there in that bottom lane. Sup, Seba Crack. Welcome to the stream. Taking a little bit of a break here from my breath, as I actually set up a little bit of a chat here to show you which teams are which and which one actually has the current kill record. So, or the current win. Just trying to even out the team names a little bit there. And now we can edit the scene to move this down here into the corner, and that way you can see where the teams currently are at in this matchup of best of 3. There we go. Alright, now we're back into it here. Not a whole lot has happened, but New Recruit's taking a bit of damage by Drum Gun, who Pushover went ahead and used the Spell Shield in case any of Thresh's tricks were up to play, trying to see what he can do. What is up, Sierra D? You is awesome. Bulimic Whale in the top lane trying to get his farm to match Jack's there. He was a little bit of AFK there. Weasel coming in doing a bit of damage to Bajan, who's just going to throw some auto attacks there. Actually missed the Q. It might be going down as the Ignite is down. Weasel there, Trickster play jumping back in. Hard to tell when Fizz is going to do that. The Exhaust is on Patchinator though. The Ignite's there, and that damage by Morgana is going to finish him off. A nice Q as well, going to be doing so much damage. Drum Gun actually getting off that last heal to bait out Caitlyn's attacks. McAfee in that top lane going to be taken down as a Scuffa gets a nice gank up there with that red buff. Jack's not going to be going much of anywhere. Weasel as well in the mid lane taking a little bit of tower damage. Maybe I should back off from this with my old man Fizz. I think I'm going to switch it back to normal mode here instead of going British for the entire game. Drum going to do an excellent job. Team Pondmills doing an amazing job starting this game off as they are hardcore trying to get this win. Mafiki coming in doing a lot of damage to Bulimic Whale, not wanting to actually get this game on any kind of tilt that Team South could take advantage of, as they are down 1 game, 3 kills to 1. Pondmills in the lead. There continues to go the stuns by Mafiki, who's actually low mana here. Bulimic Whale just kind of tanking all those stuns out. Not interested in doing too much fighting. But here comes Mahabad actually attacking back. His Hecarim initially ganked up here. There's a nice knock-up and slow by Sejuani. That may be a dead Nasus. Susan down as Mafiki grabs that revenge kill in the top lane. Susan actually didn't have the initial kill, just had an assist as Hecarim picked up the kill on that. Bajan in the mid lane doing a little bit of damage to Fizz. Got to land all of her attacks. Went ahead and used the Ignite on him. Can't chat and stream at the same time, Sir D. Hit me up in the chat. Bajan in the mid lane. Continue to do a little bit of damage to Weasel. Ignite has been used, so not going to have a whole lot of options. Hopefully the mana will hold out, though, with those double Doran's rings. Fizz actually has double Doran's rings as well. Spell Vamp finished off Vamp Scepter for Sivir, as well as Jax in that top lane. There's a nice attempt at a snare by Morgana in that bottom. The ultimate from Fizz is out onto Nidalee. Will it be enough, though? Fizz is underneath the tower. Another tower shot will finish it off, and the heals are real. Bajan doing a beautiful job of baiting Fizz under the tower for that entire length of time and grabbing a kill for herself. That was amazing to watch. Is actually up a little bit on minion farm as well, and that is good news. Jax tried to jump to Hecarim and actually managed to land it a little bit as Hecarim ult, or not ult, but just Hecarim dash will do enough to keep him there. He actually grabs another kill for himself. Susan picking up another assist, but now Sejuani's in the bottom lane. Caitlyn went ahead and used her 90 caliber net to try to get herself out of that. Morgana snare coming in from a distance. Thresh went ahead and used the shield just in case anyone was going to try to keep doing some damage. New recruits turning around and continuing to try to farm. Only down by about 5 minions, so these two ADCs are pretty even. Sivir did back, however, so she's going to have a little bit of a leg up on Caitlyn until Caitlyn backs. She does still have a health pot, and so might be able to stay alive for a bit while longer. Pachinair still doing a great job as usual in this bottom lane. Only has 1 minion, giving a lot of minions over to new recruits. He actually went ahead and started with that relic shield, which is an interesting choice on Thresh. I don't see that very often. Goes ahead and tries to throw the hook, landing it onto Morgana, but she got a nice spell shield ready for that. She knew when it was going to happen. Might have even baited it out of Thresh, allowing herself to be hooked. Weasel back in the mid lane, but Bajan actually has a little bit of a level up. Hecarim going to give over that blue buff to Nidalee, knowing that that spear throwing Catwoman could use it. In that top lane, Balimic Whale still going hard. He goes ahead and uses the Wither on the Jax. Jax has the stun on the Nasus, but that Wither is going to keep him slowed for a pretty while longer. Fizz jumping in hard, trying to do damage to the Nidalee, but Hecarim's here as well. Trickster play is going to get him out of a fight. However, not out of Nidalee's spear range. She's focused on those minions, though, so she's not going to be throwing too many spears. Balimic Whale getting stunned once again in that top lane, going ahead and using that hammer time on Jax up there. So Sejuani's actually going to flash leap under the tower. She can tank the tower out, grabbing herself a kill up there in that top lane. First kill for her in the game. Nidalee doing a nice flash leap combo to grab Fizz and stay in cat form to get out. Oh my gosh, all this burst damage, though, going back and forth. Thresh going ahead and tossing shield onto himself, not have to worrying about too much of that damage. In the top lane, Escafe coming back in, has no mana though, so not going to be able to chase McAfee down. 5-5, both teams want this game so hard. Team South is trying their best to make any type of advantage that they can and start snowballing the game in their effect, and Team Pondmills does not want that to happen. They want to get their first game and keep these games for going, both in favor of Team South. Everything on the line as both teams are pushing hard for any kind of win. New recruits in that bottom lane, a little bit of farm above the Sivir, but nothing too major. However, in the mid lane, discrepancy is happening as Nidalee does now have almost twice the farm of this Fizz. There's another spear. Weasel actually going ahead and using that trickster play to get out of it. And in the top lane, Nafiki actually ignoring the minions as, there we go, Morgana all coming into the bottom lane. That's going to snare Pachinator, who's probably going to be dead as Drumgun picks up another kill. Caitlyn actually going to have 2 tower shots, and a 3rd tower shot will be death of her, but before it can even land, that Sivir has a nice auto attack for her. Weasel taking another Nidalee spear to the back. The little fishy self not able to dodge it as the two in the top lane continue to beat on each other. That Knight might finish off. There we go. Fizz going down in the mid lane once again. Nidalee just too strong. Two wins in a row. Hey, you never know. Bajan in the mid lane, getting a lot of damage done. You went ahead and used the heal. The tower is there, and it might be able to finish off Sivir for her. Oh, the tower shot follows Sejuani through the dash and grabs another kill for Nidalee just before dying. Jax once again pushing in on the Blue McWhale in the top lane. These two going back and forth, beating each other up. Jax is a little bit of an advantage so far in minion wave, at least in that top lane. Nasus doesn't really have any kills at the moment, but those assists are certainly helping. Spell Vamp and the start of a Trinity Force in that top lane is going to help out with that Phage with Jax. He might actually be able to grab a kill on the Blue McWhale. There's that Wither going to be taking a lot of tower shots. Oh, so much damage back and forth. Jax might be able to get a jump onto Nasus. He actually gets the tower instead. Going to go ahead and grab that and back off in that top lane. Patchneer in the bottom lane looking for any opportunity to land a hook. But with all that spell shield and spell shield between Morgana and Sivir, things are going to be looking pretty bad for him. Goes ahead and uses the ultimate, slow down both of Morgana. The spell shield is on to Sejuani as Nilly's making her way down there. Hecarim going through the back line, going to be grabbing a nice Jax kill for himself before running away from Fizz. Hopefully he'll be able to escape from that little horseman. And actually a Nidalee Spear miraculously hitting Sivir through all of those minions. That was an amazing shot. Threw in another one to grab a little bit of damage onto Sejuani as purple teams decided they're going to push into this bottom lane as Fizz is roaming at the moment. 8 kills to 8 kills. This game is even all the way. About 1,000 gold advantage for Team Pondmills, but as we saw last game, they had a lot of advantage and their team still pulled it around. That's going to be a kill. Fizz finally found the Hecarim. He was shopping already as he was back, and that is not the way to do it. Followed Hecarim all the way through the jungle and finally got a kill. Patchneer snared. He damaged a lot of... he's been taking a lot of damage. There's a Sejuani stun on 2 of the blue team's members. Team South, actually, Caitlyn going ahead and using her ultimate. Drum Gun actually protecting Morgana from that by just soaking it up, as neither of their spell shields were up. Nice snare onto Bajan from Morgana. We know that this Nidalee wants these spears to land on somebody. Patchneer with very low health coming up here, but here comes Fizz, and it's going to be looking like a 4v3 fight if all the members stick around. The recruits does have the shield. Patchneer wants her to take the shield, but now they're not going to have it available as Fizz comes in, doing lots of damage to new recruits. Caitlyn's just not paying attention. Here comes Hecarim, though. That does mean that Caitlyn is down. Nidalee actually was successful in getting a spear off onto Sivir, and then Fizz turned it around, jumping onto Patchneer, but Hecarim's got the sustain, going to grab himself a kill on Fizz as well. And Nidalee, with those amazing spears and cat form, is just going to have the damage and grab another kill for herself. Now 6-2. Hecarim's going to chase this Morgana down. Or be smart and not. Grabbing a nice snare for himself in the jungle, which is not exactly what you want to do. But Morgana was able to get away from that pushover, escaping with some pretty good stuns. Nasus in the top, doing what Nasus do best, and just slow farming his Q. He knows that late game he'll be able to make it. Jax now having, with a little bit of roam running around, a little bit down in the farm, as Nasus can farm a little more safely, not worried about it. Nice long-range spear by Bajan, going to grab himself blue buff as he runs through the jungle. Now 6-2, a very, very strong Nidalee. A sweeping lens picked up by Sejuani will help keep wards down, though neither team has been warding all that heavily. And a scrying orb from Sivir, I guess that's to have good vision on when to throw the knives, or little boomerangs. Morgana all coming back down. Patchneer, really bad situation. Both members of blue team stuck on either side of him. He's going to go down. Now Bajan in the mid lane, going to have to try to escape from 2 members. Fizz and Sejuani chasing her down, while in the top lane's the opposite. Did go ahead and jump over the wall. Catform actually grabbing a kill on Fizz, dodging the Sejuani dash, but it is not enough. The Fizz bleed over time actually did enough damage to kill the Nidalee. Beautiful dodge, though, nonetheless, in the top lane. Hecarim helping Nasus to finally get one of his own kills. 2-2-2 in that top lane as Sejuani pushes down in the mid lane. Escafe coming in here. Hecarim going ahead and using a leap of his own, getting off that nice red buff proc, and that's going to keep Sejuani slowed. She does have blue buff, and Hecarim says, I want your blue buff. Coming in here, does spear beat Boar. He's going to back off a little bit, maybe just trying to get Sejuani to turn around. Went ahead and used Ghost. I guess just backing off fully, realizing he didn't really have the mana to keep up that fight. Push over in that bottom lane, just doing his best to keep the wave pushed back. Haha, there's that username as Drum Gun does come in. Bloodthirster having been finished for both ADCs. However, Caitlyn does not have the attack speed boots that Sivir does. Does not quite have as much gold, or maybe just hasn't backed quite yet. And so we'll be sitting on a bit of gold in that top lane. About 600 gold, which would be at least the starter boots. She doesn't need it though. She does have her 90 caliber net. There we go, to jump out of any kind of fight that she doesn't want to be a part of. Is going to get hit by a little bit of those boomerangs. Blue team trying to make a fight happen. Purple team does not have any wards in there. This could be bad for Team South. Nilly does have the Fizz ultimate on her. She's going to be rushing through these bushes. There's the, actually, I think that was the ultimate by Sejuani, which did not land. The Ignite is ticking. She might be able to escape from this. The Boomerang did not land. Oh my gosh, blue team is chasing hard. Turns into human form to throw that heal onto herself. Will she be able to escape? She hasn't taken damage recently. Trying to drag it out as long as... No! Fizz gets the dash in just before she jumps under the tower. For real, says Nidalee. That trickster play by Fizz, keeping him just in range. Pushover actually standing in the bush waiting for Pachinier to come by. Getting a little bit of damage on him, proccing that Spell Thief's edge. Drum Gun in the bottom lane, just trying to keep these minions pushed. Looks like Jax will be joining. That is not good. You're allowing that Nasus in the top lane to just free farm all day long. Once he joins the fight, things are going to be looking really bad. McAfee in that bottom lane did get spell shielded, but a nice Thresh Flay is going to keep him away just for a little bit longer. There's the Morgana ultimate, and oh, not quite hooked by Thresh. There's the Caitlyn ultimate, not going to do too much. Actually landed on Sejuani, protected. Jax coming in from the bush line. There's a nice stun and attack. Going to finish off Caitlyn for himself. Might be in bad fight though. This 2v4 fight could go really bad for South. Could go, south for South. Thresh does have the shield down. Here come Fizz. Now it is a 5v2. Everybody on blue team wants a part of it, but Nidalee's coming in from the back line. Fizz actually jumps underneath the tower, flayed as well by Thresh. Nasus is teleported down as well, joining the fight. Pachinier gets finished off by that Fizz ultimate, but the Bulimic Whale is here with those cues of massive damage, grabbing a double kill as well. Bajan wants a piece of anybody that those spears can land, but they're going to let Sejuani slip away just before they decide, hey, we're going to take this tower. Nasus getting very scary now, 4 and 2, as he was allowed to free farm the top lane pretty heavily, but Jax is up there right now trying to match it himself, as his team is pretty bad. I think he actually backed away in that team fight in the bottom lane a little bit earlier, so it ended up being a 4v3 in which that full health Nasus coming in spelled a lot of doom for blue team. Team Pondmills still looking pretty strong, as the goal is actually just about even between these two teams, 17 to 17, one tower each. This game is anybody's game at the moment. Pushover getting a nice spear to her face. Bajan doing an excellent job of throwing those, breaking through all that spell shield damage, then just add some more on top of it. Doesn't matter if you have a spell shield, if you can break through it with that spear. However, the Sivir spell shield will negate an entire spear, no matter what the damage is. Purple team pushing a little bit down the mid lane. There's that Fizz ultimate from over the wall. Actually going to knock up two teams members. The Sejuani ultimate comes in, finishing off one of them. Fizz actually picking up that kill onto Caitlyn. Muhammad helping out with those beautiful ultimates. Weasel now coming in looking for more blood. ADC being down for Team South is going to be pretty rough for them, as they're going to have to deal with a lot of damage from the enemy team. That fear from Sivir actually allowed her to keep going in the same direction. Escafe just chasing her down, though. He knows that he doesn't need anything more than just his auto attacks to finish her off. There's a nice fancy last leap to grab that kill. Mid lane down to about half health for blue team there. 18 to 18 kills now. Hecarim doing a nice job of evening those up. Blue team not really able to push down this mid lane very well. Weasel being protected by a minion there, sacrificing a minion for his own safety as these spears come out. There goes another minion, literally just taking away these minions one by one, and eventually there shall be nothing left to protect Weasel from these spears of doom. The Nasal Large Rod has been finished by Nidalee in the top lane. Bulimic Wheel deciding, hey, just to go ham on to Sivir or Sejuani. If he can finish off Sejuani, that's worth for him. But grabbing blue buff for himself, doesn't mind that either. Went ahead, does still have the ultimate on him. Look at the Q's of massive damage. That staff, the Pimp Cane, too strong, coming in hot. And finishing off Jax in the top lane. There's another Fizz ultimate though on Nidalee, who's not expecting all that damage. Gonna finish her off. Patchinator using a nice flay to back off both of the blue team members. But now it is a 3v2. Morgana ultimate's on Patchinator, but he's not gonna be able to protect himself. Hecarim actually was able to use a nice bit of a horsey run to get himself out of that. Caitlyn in that bottom lane, still now 3v2 if purple team does decide to try to fight this dragon. However, blue team might not have the health for it, as they're going to have to back off a little bit. ADC fight in that bottom lane. Hecarim coming in here. Went ahead and used the ultimate. The fear did go down onto Morgana, but Fizz Trickster played through it and dashed back to get the damage onto Hecarim, grabbing himself yet another kill now. 10-6. Very powerful for Pondmills. In that top lane, Bulimic Whale doesn't care about damage. Muhammad Dip here, gonna get beat up quite a lot. Might actually spell death, except the Jax is here with the stun as well as the Sejuani stun. That's gonna hold Nasus there for a very long time. Nidalee flashing in at the last second, not even caring about his spear, just throwing down the ignite with a free auto attack doesn't hurt. In the middle of Trickster play, that Fizz still went down. Beautiful spears. Another one almost taking out Morgana. Very low health there. She is going to be pushing down all these towers. That is the second tower for purple team. Doing a heavy job of now pushing down a third tower in this mid lane. Well, third tower for them, second tower in the mid lane. Blue team pinging up this dragon, saying purple team is more than likely headed there. Let's go ahead and try to defend, but they might find a bit of a purple team hanging around here. Nidalee throwing a nice spear, grabbing it onto Sivir. He's going to go ahead and throw a boomerang and actually finish off the minion, I think, in the middle of those bushes. Muhammad walking over that trap is going to give a little bit of vision to purple team. They are pinging, let's do this dragon. Blue team is right around the corner, though. Caitlyn in this bottom lane, just going ahead and farming. She's got a good bit of damage there. Sejuani actually jumping over the wall of dragon, trying to get a little bit of vision, but jumped into a full team. That nice Patchinator hook's going to keep her there for the team to grab the kill. Morgana Snare going through, going to land onto Hecarim, who doesn't care that much. But there's the teleport by Jax, who's jumping in with that stun spinning. Morgana ult did go down, but didn't actually land on anybody. Hecarim stealing Dragon at the last second. Blue team now kind of in full retreat as purple team is pushing in hard. Weasel's still in the bush. He wants a little bit more blood. He knows if he leaps in, he can do a lot of damage. Bajan doing an excellent job of landing a lot of those spears. The snare is on Patchinator. However, he's going to be able to walk away from that. Bajan with blue buff still continuing to push. Weasel just looking for somebody to jump onto, still hiding in that bush. Purple team doesn't know that he's there. New recruits in that top lane. There we go. Susan finally finishing off that turret in the top. Bajan with the slows backing off. Does have a little bit of burning on her through the heal, but Fizz is still there. Cat leaping away, but it's not going to be enough as Weasel's just continuing to follow her all the way. Patchinator now trying to escape. Good job by Fizz sticking around for that entire fight, waiting for an opportunity to leap in as soon as his teammates actually made it. Patchinator making Fizz run around a little bit in circles. Is going to be able to back off. Sejuani may be able to find him, but he should be able to escape from that. Sejuani actually, I think, used her sweeping lens, but didn't go back for the ward up there. I guess didn't really care too much about it, and instead was headed towards those golems. Apologize for the yawn. 24 kills to 22. This game is going to go crazy long. Well, not crazy long. I mean, it's just going crazy right now. Nafiki in that top lane with the spell shield on, as blue team's now chasing in onto purple team, who's in full retreat. Nasus and Caitlyn with that wither should be able to keep off blue team. Sejuani with a little FFS. I think she might have missed her initial leap, and so wasn't able to slow down the enemy team. Oh, let's go. Never mind. Nidalee caught out once again, getting a lot of damage, instantly nuking her down. That is not good for purple team. Pachinero trying to flay the enemy away, and he's not going to be able to escape from that. Weasel continuing to find new targets, now 12-7. Blue team pushing down. They're going to get this mid tower without any problems at all. I apologize for the knocking of the screen. I did not mean to do that. My mouse is super sensitive. There's a Hecarim actually using his ultimate to try to get away from the Fizz and Jax in that jungle. Blue team pinging saying, hey, there's a Nasus here who is free for the kill. Drum Gun might be able to find him. Nasus has used his ultimate, but might be 1v5ing here. He is able to tank a lot of damage, but not enough. Deciding to ignore Jax, who's doing massive amounts of damage, and that Morgana snare means he's just going to stand there doing nothing. Should have turned on to the Fizz when he had the opportunity. A lot of damage now. There's the Caitlyn ultimate. Should be able to finish off Sejuani. New Recruit's picking up yet another kill. Now grabbing a second kill, actually, for herself. Thresh and Shield doing a nice job of pulling Caitlyn all the way up toward the front lines. Actually used 90 caliber net to kind of move herself towards the enemy. Jax is there, though, deciding, hey, just to show himself for the fear factor, causing Caitlyn to back off, nearly getting snared by yet another Q from Morgana, who has been beautiful so job on all of those snares. Weasel backing off here, once again hiding in his favorite bush, waiting for somebody to come by. Oh, he actually failed his trickster play over the wall, but purple team knows he's there. There's a nice spear. Long spear by Nidalee, and that is another dead fish. Not exactly to the face, more to the side / back. And so, not really Caitlyn, but a good try nonetheless. Pachinero taking a lot of damage by Drum Gun. Goes ahead and uses his ultimate to slow his enemies, but he's slowed himself, and it is not going to be enough. Maybe trying to help save a teammate, as Hecarim is trying to back off from this, but Hecarim's worst fear is Sejuani, as she can slow you down. McAfee leaping in with another stun. Purple team was just all over the place. Team South not collected at all. Team Pondmills showing their strength as they're collecting towards this mid lane. They are trying to finish it off. New Recruit's actually pushing in the bottom lane here. Might be picked off if she's not careful. In that top lane, Nasus just continues to push while blue team is taking their 4th tower of the game in that mid lane. They don't care about damage. Hecarim actually leaping in with that ultimate dash combo, grabbing off 1 kill and getting both other members down really low. But he was just waiting for Sejuani to get low enough for him to leap in and grab himself a kill. That was good, Hecarim. That was good. Mafiki jumping up onto Bulimic Whale once again in the top lane, continuing to go back and forth. Nasus has been slow farming this entire game. 189 farm, going to be doing a lot of damage with his Qs as he has farmed it up pretty high. Mafiki does have the spell shield on him by Pushover, who came up just to try to help out a little bit. 133 farm himself. He has a lot of damage, having a nice bork to his name. Another snare by Pushover is going to stop Pachinero in his tracks. All he wanted to do was ward. Fizz jumping in, actually went ahead and used the Zhonya's on himself, stopping any damage that Nidalee had. Pachinero trying to throw a hook, but once again being caught out. Purple team once again still all over the board, trying to figure out what they can do. Now 34 kills to 25. Blue team in full push. Pondmills just stopping Team South anywhere that they go. New Recruits trying to hold on to this tower. There's the oh my gosh, the Fizz ultimate actually landed on her. She tried a 90 caliber net away, but still had the Fizz following her. But blue team is fully underneath this tower. They might not be able to tank it out for too long. The Morgana ult is down. All they needed was another kill, as that tower is not going to be lasting very long with all 5 members of blue team here. It is time for Nasus to group. It's been a long time since Nasus should have grouped. There's a nice spear, though, by Nidalee, doing massive amounts of damage to Weasel. Pachinero coming in, throwing down the ultimate, but did not land on anybody. Another spear by Nidalee going down onto Jax. Going to be doing a good bit of damage, but will it be enough? The stun by Jax is out. Nidalee eating the little claws, not doing quite enough yet. Throwing out a spear that she hoped would land, but it might not be enough. Purple team might be able to turn it around as Nidalee is the only one there. Went ahead and used a nice heal on herself, but now they have super minions pushing into their base. This is not good for purple team as they are just trying to collect themselves. But once again, chasing way too hard. Could be going for dragon in the meantime as blue team is backing, but no, they're going to be pushing all the way towards this last tower down here for the bottom lane. Another spear by Nidalee doing a lot of damage. It's not going to be enough. The bulimic whale taking a good bit of tower damage. Drum gun trying to spell shield through a lot of Nasus's attacks. There's a nice stun onto Nidalee by the Sejuani. Now bulimic whale once again in trouble as all members of blue team are here. That is not how you pull it together. Jax taunting his way there as blue team backs out. Team Pondmills just turning this game in their favor hardcore since about 7 minutes ago. Rally's Crystal Scepter being picked up by Sejuani, so if she didn't slow before, she'll be slowing a lot more. Jax doing a little bit of dancing over both of their bodies. He's just waiting for an opportunity to leap on them. Team Pondmills once again continuing to push down the mid lane a little bit. They have the super minions on their side. They don't need too much assistance. Fizz grabbing a bunch of farm from purple team's side. Purple team really needs to figure out how to collect together and turn this game around as it is now hugely in the favor of Pondmills. Several thousand above them. Pachinier once again being grabbed out by one of Morgana's snares. And the rest of blue team just collapsing in on them. A lot of damage now going onto Escafe, who's having to back off. There's another Morgana snare going to be stopping him in place. He actually leaps off to the side, but Jax is there. Sivir actually picking up that kill, as well as the rest of the team collapsing in onto Nidalee. This is Pondmills in their best mode, just destroying. They don't need Baron. They don't need anything. Nasus just pushing bot lane once again, not there for his team, needs to be there to stop this Jax massive damage. A nice dash ult by Sejuani going to be stopping Caitlyn in the tracks, allowing Fizz to grab off yet another kill. They're finishing this towers. This is game. Nasus, you showed up way too late to the party. That is not how you do it. Bulimic Whale trying to do a little bit of damage he can with his massive tankiness, but it's not going to be enough as the rest of blue team just collapses in onto him. Once again, hyper-focusing this Caitlyn. He could be doing free auto attacks onto the Jax, but no, he's just going to stand there for a minute as the rest of the team finishes off that tower. GG game. That is Pondmills finishing off the second game of the night, grabbing themselves a first win in this series of 3. So I'm going to run through real fast who the MVPs are. Blue team won, so on purple team's side, I would give it to Bajan. I think I will officially give it to Bajan. I would have given it to Nasus for all the heavy free farm, except for the fact that he did not join his team when it was necessary. You got to help your team out in those fights. It is not how it's done. Pachinator actually landed a couple good Qs, but the double spell shield by Morgana and Sivir kind of put him in his place as he was not able to land all of those Qs. So great job by Nidalee, starting off really strong. Hard to do great on Nidalee in the late game. You really got to win an early game with Nidalee with those spears. But on blue team, who pulled it into a win, it is definitely handed over to Fizz, who had massive amounts of damage. Lost a little bit in the early game towards that Nidalee, but roamed heavily. You saw him top lane, you saw him bottom lane, you saw him everywhere that there was a fight. He was there ready to help out, do damage, and most importantly was that beautiful, beautiful pause when he was waiting by red buff's bushes, and he was waiting for that team fight to break out by purple team. Purple team never walked in there, didn't see him in there, and so he just waited his way out. You got to be prepared to do that kind of a thing. That was about 30 seconds you could have called a waste, except that he got 2 kills off of that, just waiting in that bush because he knew the purple team was going to make a mistake there. So amazing job by Weasel, but amazing plays all around. Beautiful, beautiful job. Love watching you guys. Go ahead in here and edit this into a 1v1 game as we have 2 wins now. Amazing job by both people. Oh, are we done for the night? That's what I think. It might be done. I will do the giveaway